Fight price or Paddy Powell.
Gargalar. Okay, Sean Dennis was Banistor Cork.
We feel that we're very strong now today with today's team going out. So we're pushing close. We're pushing closer to our starting 15. Now, and I suppose we'll take a week or two off after today, and then get going again. But we're pushing close now to our starting.
And if I was to ask you, where would you see, the changes or the places that are still open for debate? I mean, are you, in your own head, are you settled on 10, 12 of the championship starters at this stage? Yeah,
well, I think that there's, to be honest with you, there's very little between. I mean, we can mix and match, which we have been doing, and I think because we haven't been probably contending over the last 3 years, is that we are not as settled as maybe what we should be. But so therefore, there's probably 2 guys going for every position. There isn't that much between them. But I think probably maybe up front, probably, is that we haven't been maybe doing scoring goals in particular. That's not a major concern to us now, because I think if the thing happens to come right, it comes right. I think we've been clocking up good scores on points and that. But I mean, that's one area to get that mix right on Championship Day, and to win the major battles throughout the field. And we think we have the players now. We have the players all over the field to do that, and I suppose today now we want to kind of cement that, but we realise that Dublin have great momentum coming into today's game, and that's going to tell us an awful lot, I think, after today.
Lord John.
Day stands on its own, really, in Division 1 of the league, so it's just another day. Brilliant stadium, lovely day, so looking forward to hopefully getting a good Dublin performance. That's Kilkenny match, Galway match, they all count for nothing now. It's just today, Dublin and Cork. We just our own game, really. Whatever happens anywhere else is not, there's absolutely nothing we can do about that. So the only thing we have control over here is how we perform. So we'll be just hoping we can get a performance out of ourselves, and we'll have a check. If things go well for us, we can check what the story is. But no, I mean, it's been reasonably positive National League for us so far, so we're hoping to build on that again today and put another little step on that. If that means getting to the final, that'll be fantastic. If it doesn't, if we perform well, we'll be quite happy today as well.
And if you had marked out at the beginning of the year that you'd be still in with a shot of being in the league final on the last day of the campaign, would you have said that was a successful league?
Maybe at the start of the year, but you take it each day as it comes. This time last year, I think we were the only team in the country with anything to play for in the last day of the league, which was relegation. We were worried about against Limerick, so it's a different ball game today. There's a chance of getting to a league final, and that'll be fantastic for Dublin. So, but we know we're coming down here. We'll be up against it, but we'll be hoping to give a great account of ourselves. That's as I said, that's all we have control about over. So that's the way we have to think.
Nachwil.
Son lechaisach Mariarach agus Gary Maguire. Na bhfuil amach Joe Lorna Parke Praban si de Chavar Brian Murphy son. Seach Lars Ligri Park Ronan. Desh Bader and score again Gardner Oskley Chen Goili Tashi Kora Gudain Fein didn't Cooley again Farma Beerso Haggis the Corky agus Tushke Clara scored.
Well, sin tasachma Corky tasachma William Egan sin pass das took a Park Ronan agus Park Ronan with John Gardner Haran Trusnon tasachma dente ag Corky.
Agus Ben O'Connor ish Coig Vedras had on goal agus ta on Gnodian to get. In the Cork Craig, a sock. Agus bheitchain chuman ó cheann ceann na tíre bradúil den méidna bheith in cúnta acu.
Sure, agus a chance fight ag Paul Ryan the Horace Logan and chéanna chuig a fuair sé gona Kilkenny san cléad dearnach.
So an chéad score against the Black League maisin agus ceann scoid to get Cork a Lorna Parkinson. Stachrí O'Callaghan and Cadigan Clehanach Lashudach William Egan to give him Russia John Ashe Bully Bugdale dear fa
Shin Carter
Gardner it didn't darling a session could have Harris last on and get John Gardner. Talk again Maguire and son Thomas Brady and Sir Rhino Dwyer. Si de súile a spántas mór ó Dwyer aniuach sin lehasí Lord eile Cian McCarthy a chain de chorcaige agus isteach a dro ó fearla ríist McCarthy leanún teir agus gan inge ó leanún siar agus fearnasá sialachas í chuir go glóte Har se drasnánig a siúd anna scór gan McCarthy.
Sin anna scórin sin agus anna choimart agus an críoch ag Cian McCarthy an sin. Ach a rísin an líróid sin a dul sós i dro Luca Farrell.
Den chorcaí Shane O'Neill. Machan so grí cornach an passmethe a bhrech agus tá O'Neill gorta hinsa. Nis Datsio Callahan. Diar a géit lí an bhisteach. Mach grí Ryan O'Dwyer agus a ríist an mó díirech. Siogri O'Callan tá pointed so de bhleachlí agus fachta có ach Shane O'Neill tá gortú fósta go rasta agus tuairte bheith gorta le tamil fada.
Well, bhí sé sin tiltte cá crua e Brianamh ag na tosaistí agus an scór-fight ag Datsio Callahan sin ag deir na dála.
Ach gafalastig agus deisian so ag fear Lord Park of bhleachlí Simon Lambert. Steach méle chola ceatar a chorca gan cadigan ar chuine agus Ryan O'Dwyer. Bhí son anard go dógi O'Dwyer. Agus ní nach chóna tá gítam agus dul trí chélan san istig.
Well, Kenty nar bhéon leiscéal de sin inis ó bhí sé oscailte ar fad agus tháinig Ryan O'Dwyer iste mar a dúirí sin íon gara an sin in éachar ag bhleachlí go dtí seo. Bhíl foiar nó anrad san immert.
Don no cúsach sin trúrach. Trí cín ar fad an isicha. Agus chuig féidir seaca có agus ganach duine stig.
Agus tá sé de bog amach mar a dúiris den na tocanna.
Well, na dhéile dánaíocht é sin Ryan a túirt feadh chóil. Nis tá leithiad sat go a chuige machchan tugaí Ryan O'Dwyer. Siúd a dtíir dul thar Ronan Corn agus leor chu sé isteach sa gramú seachas é hechant. Datsio Callahan ó head na láimh clé agus anna féinte i gé Datsí an san.
Sin anna féinte déanta ag an fear cúine dar a plumfit húsan sin beagnach ar an fethe hen ar an taobhad an barc.
Marco Hogant. A bhí beag de bhíor Patrick Horgan an son an ghaineh beidir a teach slachar seachas é níile. Shane Durkin. Paul Ryan a crathú Ryan dacreachta ístig an son tá stitar a bhuachtant ar a thuige agus os a chiún isteach agus más pointe sin is pointe den scothe agus na bhleachlí chuireach an cínige.
Sin anna faointe ar fad an taobh cléin sin ó Paul Ryan agus an héanana chuige croigh sin an fuair sé an lá dénach agus choolín den scofight again seo.
Simon Lambert lá an éana agus sunistig agus ó fearla ríist tá sé seo. Har a bheith níta mar imreoir bhuachail agus ina inúin gan Mórán Stevens aige sin anna féintear fad agus é tiltige.
Sin anna féintear fad. Agus é faoibrú anna scór. Tá sé déanamh go maith.
Paddy O'Sullivan ochrú nuas docha sé siúd an umíocht a smó bheith ige Luca Farrell den gúine sin beidir. No de cheannas na cúnaí pescéile.
Well, ní léadh go dtí seo gur Luca Farrell an tosaí is fearr atá chorcaig.
Seo isteach san ige bhleachlí William Egan na géirí an áirdach an brisinsa buite go deas agus na bhleachlíigh siar cho fad le Paul siúréansa a chan obair an McCarthy.
Áite chintaháin, so céir Murphy a fáile a seansanmh ach níl siad a chuir an líróir isteach chuige.
Paul siúre a chuir an son na dro ó Callahan na stáilm agus sin anna féintear fad ige lá tosaí bhleachlí agus ní léon áras le blianta fad atá a bhíonach nochtathe an
bhil cinnte ní léon dulfaí sin anna féintear fad anna féinte is bleachlí a bhhaidna fearnis.
Nis Cian McCarthy a dulda í gáardach an táile sin deisiáte agus a ríist. Suir sin son ige beidir nar chearta bheith. Luca Farrell seasamh an óid an son. Neart má léide aige agus bhfuil teach an pointe le gáil tá sí sin leis chuir ar cho ar fórí.
Bíháin.
Anna chomháil go Ronan Corn san éir an son. Siúgarí Brian Murphy fear anna hena bríd agus Corn a ríist a túair takeíocht a gá. Stechan sa. ó Farrell buca amach an boutas agus pás facaiste agus bute goúntaach ge carta Kieran Murphy painte ge ceart go leor achas chúil bhí sé fearre.
Well, bhí agus bhí an seans ann cinnte, bhí roid maithaisteach go rís. Well, bhí sé gar go leor you know, nuair bhí Kieran Murphy óg I gimmet minúr an a hosaí fad chun chúla áil ach you know, tá sé sort tá níos mó cháilir níos mar obróir ach cinnte is féidir leis chúla áil.
William Egan chuiristeach níos hígéis ná McCarthy teasta go maith óna ionad sa lár bail sa líine le hosta gnéis agus McCarthy agus sin anna féintear fad ón glíhána mó.
Sin anna scóir fad tá Niall McCarthy ag obair anna dhéanaar fad agus you know, agus réitréis bheith bocha stachannis go dtí bhrí héin deag anna scóir an taobh léin sin ó Niall.
Agus 8 mblianach tá sé fémar bheith leid ógan sanna mo agus ritímpel na parke. Dúpati go deasige Conal Keane agus béga do chuchfad ag nesod a bhleaclíthe. David O'Callaghan, Bert Churcaíoch, a Leanúint, Plunkett inis, fear bhfuil luas ann. Well, stíl nechatíanta. O'Callaghan chuin pointeach ná agus tá muir cúlistigh sásta.
Sin anna scóir fad sin anna luas a rís ó Dara Plunkett i tuairtam líróid agus é chuir an leor Hara Keane go dtí datíon sin.
So Killicine the Fringe go de bhar Callan agus trí cín get Paul Ryan agus in réingach an bhretin chláir a scór dóibh. Nis seota suasanta i John Chúne. So seach an Cork go chur chun cín tá sé hénig sásta lei sin a rám tucha le gé leis an gúil. Carrigan. Machan sa grí Ben O'Connor Farrell tá har a bheith ciúin le cúignom de diag na marsin an nuas. Stachadí McCarthy. Búirteach ar Niall McCarthy agus dír chhlaistigh den góla is siúig.
Well, sin anna scóir fad anna feas ó Ben O'Connor nach bhfuil feicte bin go minic san céad le agus anna scórin sin ó Niall McCarthy.
Sin na Corcaigh críochnú go maith sa Martin in action, diantige. Ryan O'Dwyer better sung sa drama son and Aniston Multord Larkin McLaughlinach. Scomut has a boat against the Corcaigh agus Egan-ish. Can I boat to Road again? Torch just a draw Patrick Horgan. Nish. As I did get Hennig Hera or Link she Niall Corcoran and Son Stig agus Ty Counson. Could have Harris just on again.
Sin scóir má Patrick Horgan céan ar smachtaigh sé líróid I gceart an céadúir a chóg sé sus an darúach. Níl mar an feicte gon de Patrick Horgan go dtí seo so beidir go dúirthaigh sé seo muín dó den dar le seo.
Progress they have made, and they would look to have made a good deal of that this year again. That's missed by Ronan Curran. Egan has it stolen from him, taken brilliantly by Dara Plunkett, and Plunkett has a player outside to give it to. What a good goal that is by Paul Ryan. Donald Cusack very nearly got the stick to it, but Ryan beat him to score the first goal of the game in the 40th minute. And that's a goal and 4 now. Dara Plunkett sending it in as far as Paul Ryan, and he beat Donald Cusack to make it 1-8 to 10 points. Dublin in front. Cian McCarthy now looking across, spotting the run of Niall McCarthy, his namesake. A lovely ball onto him, checking back to get it onto his right-hand side and make an angle for himself. You could see all the experience in his play there. Really crafty performer, his third point. And so it's 1-10 to 12 points. Good race for possession here in Conor McCormack. Strongly built player, but he didn't make any headway, ran into Cork players. Ball slipped back outside here. Shane Durkin hand passing it forward. That's a very useful shot. That's a fabulous shot by Conal Keane, who becomes the first player for Dublin other than David O'Callaghan or Paul Ryan to score this afternoon, and that coming up in the 54th minute.
Siachún rééis na seag sa rééis feachta go Hurling and son in the live again. Está Ferkley Hannach Leisach, Tasha Fire Faint Henix, 3 Iricht Gestach a Mila Vide, Corcoran Agus Maguire Attera, Nietzsche Glanta Falls, Patrick Horgan, Sheeran Sasha, Desta Fraggy Murphy, Agus and Son Luca Farrell, they're dead here, and through Selena Law, Tussaki Koi Blue, Cordigri in the Cardig, Agus Trichn again at 3D.
Sure, Agus Hosni Shake, a Mohan Chinig and Clihan, Agus, Connerly Han, Agus Slaughter and Leroy Staff, Agus. On a Clio, Arata, Moran, Dian to get the Clahisha Luco Farrell.
So, Nishta, Clocker, I guess, in the house in the Kirkhaganish, Faintach, Paul Ryan Martian. Count on a Hochtach, Erfad, Shoulder Stach again, Agus Styling, Willen Vartian, Tugus Targadine. To come on, again, Callan, Fargos, a Trachter, Agus Reached, and Slee, Rumbuin Cheshire. Crying chest pass, agus crying chest score on a Yasser Fad.
On a score of Fadish, and it's going to be a chaptermark. Fraben Nirod and Dalov, Ak get Kinta Gamection Lodge. Agus on a score of Fadish, on a score of fight, Conal Kino, not Kim the Stoker.
Walter Stachenson again is dealing his way nach painted and Scottish in. I should cut a Keenig Awachal.
On a score of Fad, of all round. It was on a Clayheimer together. Clear Rashcom Tossig, it was Deno made Simul on a Himul Fachagan.
Coog Nomut Ledol. Tamalin in the Chauvian score again. Paul Ryan East is dealing as well with County College in the Cool League. Todd Farsa in house at Fadanu.
She on a score of Fadus.
Next shot on the Kirkig. Tom Kennig, Maclasher Cossanorde. But it's that zone Hul, Gary Maguire, Havoil. Agus Cork renown. Hunan Negra Hardach Nile Cork Navoy Crab the Herm the Manure. The Shangaliv. Ravilis Toilemachta Schlapp Purton Son Fadi O'Sullivan agus a Fishke again Moltor.
I was talking about Gary Maguire and Chin and go again a Cadi Ian Hugshe. Full Patrick O'Sullivan and Chin.
Well, it's
got a whole in action. Oh, well. Funny from Chin cut a hole.
Nish. Kinte vi rætt marken mer cool med Harlan son agus
the Crohin to the Shanty Bra.
Well, Ben O'Connor.
Wow.
Nishan.
Und to Solomon Ishfusion.
Turn to Leshin. It's a legal Hashel Lutkin. Oh, Hanishesta Hachta Shanson Sagenish. And Jose Haramo. No better bar. Oh. Crush.
Oh, shoes. On Yale or Fad. Chance to get him and play Haramo. Bishin on a year than this captain, but the Valimir.
Well, Sora Stig agus de Markul Vartian to get Black Lear. Ta Lachoshiko. Canish na Straha. Brahan Machairi in a shot daily and a hot lisham Mogus. Bukatkamach. Brahan Gocheni, Horror, Nahemra, Farka Branag, Shintlag and out of egg in the online Gundiv. Fekhan Kuglanomat. Shin Boom had the Black Lear. Kegrev John. Carker yesterday get Cork get Joe Himra a lead the Haramo.
Vi ach fós vi sé tiltte glad clear tree the stoker.
Agus lech na himmer ha Paul Ryan and so far score all cool agus Shacolini the Black Clear Tron on Yov agus John Allen and so Gradam lech na himmer have run there. Paul Cohordagas, first things first, you're through to the final. How does that feel?
Yeah, I suppose in 65 years it's been a long time, so I know we trained hard for it, so delighted to be there,
And we saw when the final whistle went, obviously the players knew at that stage. It's a massive moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely huge. To be kind of so many disappointments now and then to get to the final is great.
What's it based on? We saw last year you went down to the last round of the league and you were in a playoff, but it was a different kind of a playoff. It was to avoid relegation that time. So what's changed in the 12 months?
I suppose a different attitude in the camp this year. We've really put it in the mental side of things, and we just hope to bring the championship now as well.
You had a wee bit of a sort of a stop-start beginning to the game this afternoon. Was it nerves, or was it just it takes the team a while to get going?
Yeah, but it's always going to be nerves coming down here to the stadium. It's Cork are always going to put it up to us as well. But now just delighted to come away with the result.
And were the players aware of what was happening in Waterford, or did you leave well enough alone?
No, we only found out after.
Right. Okay, we're going to show you your goal, Paul, because of crucial moments in the game, I suppose, no more so than your own goal. You might talk us through it.
I suppose I got the ball and buried it.
That's it. Did what every corner forward is supposed to do.
He nearly got to it though.
He did. It was a good effort, in fairness to Donlogue, but it managed to shake the net, and that's the key thing. Okay, now we're assuming Croke Park in a fortnight's time against Kilkenny. Give us your first thoughts on that.
Well, the Cats are kind of, I suppose they're going to be geared for it now, since we drew with them the last day, and just if we put the head down now, and hopefully we'll put it up to them.
All right, go hard and enjoy the final.
Thank you.
We're delighted. It was tense and we missed a few chances, but Cork had chances as well. It could have gone either way for a finish, but delighted to get there now.
Well, it was hectic and nail-biting at the finish, but Dublin holding on for a famous victory, a first league final since 1946. Michael Duignan, I'm sure you want to give your congratulations to Dublin. That's a good result for Hurling, but obviously a great result for Dublin.
Yeah, it's a great result. I think the match overall wasn't great, but for Dublin to get to the league final, a lot of work going on in hurling in Dublin over the last number of years, and at the end of the day, I suppose there's no cups been given out, but even to reach a league final, it's a big achievement for them, and well done to them. But I suppose worrying aspects to their play, but I think the game really lit up by the performance of David O'Callaghan and Paul Ryan. They scored everything bar 1 point, which Conal Keeney scored. David O'Callaghan scored 6 points from play, which is brilliant against Cork and Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and Tomás Brady at full back, absolutely outstanding. So great win for them.
Well, Liam Sheedy, I suspect now you'll be keeping your fingers crossed for Dublin in the final, with no disrespect for Kilkenny, but you had a little punt on Dublin at the start of the league campaign.
No, well, I mean, Dublin, they've shown great form all year, to be fair to them, I mean, they fully deserve to be in the final. They could have been there before today, really, They've played really well. They've had some great finds as well, Dara Plunkett, and I thought Shane Durkin had an outstanding league campaign, outstanding again today, and Paul Ryan, great goal again today, and struck some great frees. So overall, I think they fully deserve to be in the final.
I have no doubt Anthony Daly will be putting their feet firmly back down on the ground now, because they face Kilkenny in this final. One or two aspects of their play today, Michael Duignan, you were looking at that they need to improve on.
Yeah, well, the big statistic being thrown around before today was the 35 wides in the previous 2 league games, and as Liam says, really they should have been in the league final. They should have won a few other games more easily. But today, I think it's something they'll have to work on. They had 12 wides, they had 9 of them in the second half. There's Ryan O'Dwyer, really an easy chance. And sometimes it's a shot selection. Other times, that's 100 yards out. That's a ridiculous effort to be going for. You should be keeping that ball in play. Other times then their striking is poor. See here again, that's only 25 yards out, 20 yards out, should be putting that over the bar. So it's something really that they have to work on, because in the championship they're not going to even get that time on the ball, they're going to get less time on the ball. And I think, getting to the league final is fine. Here's Peter Kelly coming up from centre back. Again, great run, great defensive play, but a bad wide. But I think in the championship they're going to get a lot less time on the ball, and they'll have to sharpen up their shooting before then. But everything else, they're doing things right. They're still in the league final, and they still have things to work on, which is very, very positive for them.
And doing things like getting to a league final, an Leinster final, of course, previously, and these are the kind of things that Dublin need.
That's what they need, yeah. You need to be making progress, and I think, this league final now, to get to it, win it or not win it, park it, and then move on. In the championship in the last 2 years, they've had a couple of disappointing results. So, they'll be looking to be making more progress in the championship as well this year.
Michael, let's talk about Cork for a few minutes, because obviously they're now going to turn their attention to the championship and get their preparations ready for that. And you believe they have a bit of work to do? Well,
I do. I thought they were very, very lacklustre today, very disinterested in ways, they didn't have anything to play for, but at the same time the championship's coming up in 6 weeks' time. You think lads will be looking for their place in the championship, and the worrying thing for them is their best players were the old guard. John Gardner, Ronan Curran and Niall McCarthy in particular were outstanding. But here you see, playing a 1-2 like that in hurling, to me there's no place for get the ball and let it off long. Now in fairness to Park Ronan, he had a brilliant first 15 minutes. He lost that ball and he went off injured after 15 minutes. But again here's Kieran Murphy on the ball here, and hand passed the ball straight out over the sideline. You don't expect that from Cork players. Here again, you have Brian Murphy. I know he's a corner back most of the time, but 20 yards, hits the ball out over the sideline. That should be gone into the full forward line. And here's Luke O'Farrell, who did score a good goal today on a point, but he hit 3 or 4 wides like that from identical positions. Yeah. Cork had 14 wides, and in the first half they were well on top. They really should have went in 6 or 7 points up at half time, but they didn't have that drive or urgency that you'd like to see them having.
Liam, coming back to Dublin just for a moment, would you give them a chance in the league final, given the fact that Kilkenny seem to be racking up a few injury problems?
Yeah, in fairness to them, you know, Dublin have had their problems as well with injuries.
of
You know, I
course
mean,
they
they were
have,
missing Liam Rush again today. They were, you know, Alan McCrabb when he came on as a sub, and Stephen Heine has gone, and Joey Boland has been up. But you know, this Dublin panel have a real strength and depth. I think Anthony and his backroom team have done a great job. You know, they won't fear Kilkenny. They'll love the opportunity of getting in. I think they'll look forward